society today, the clothing you wear is a popular way for a person to express themselves. Style has a lot to do with confidence and being unique. Each and every one of us have a different view on what we think is stylish, but it all goes back to, how did this become fashionable? Where did these trends come from? As we progress, we can see that a lot of past and initial styles have influenced our style today. Let's bring it back to the 50s, shall we? From a 1950s style guide and fashion point of view, this was the rise of the ready-to-wear phenomenon. Key looks from the 1950s were the petticoats, pencil skirts, and the sweater girl look. It was after the war years that a rise of women began to go to work. So this ready-to-wear phenomenon was strictly influenced on a woman's new way of life and going to work.
I'm in love with the 60s and 70s and their style, but my favorite is Pi from that 70s show. His outfits are just like, I don't care that it's supposed to be a boy's outfit, like it's what I would wear, bell bottoms and t-shirts.
In the 60s, the idea of returning to youth was incredibly prominent. The style was full of attitude and influence from Jackie Kennedy. By the end of the 60s, it went from modest to there is no such thing as too short. The idea of youthfulness was popular and seen in shapeless mini dresses, de-emphasizing a woman's form and kitten heel pumps to embrace early childhood memories. Colors in this era were trends of earth tones as well as being inspired by pop art and modern art movements, especially as the decade transitioned into the hippie movement. After political differences in the 60s, the 70s was the era of just wanting to go out into the world and have fun. Most of the 70s fashion was influenced by the hippie movement. It was popular that people were finding themselves through things such as astrology, crystal healing, and even mood rings. Popular icons that influenced style in the 70s were Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Jim Morrison. Joplin introduced the gypsy style. Another popular 70s idol was Stevie Nicks, with layered velvet, crystals, scarves, peasant skirts, and sky-high platforms.
In terms of t-shirts, I would say probably like the 70s, because at that time, I think a lot of like the really cool screen printing inks were invented, and there was just some really great designs that came out, and I think it really pushed the t-shirt to become like just a really everyday part of what people wear rather than just an undershirt.
The 1980s left a fashion aftershock, and parents were left cleaning up stuck-on bathroom hairspray for decades.
I guess past trends.
80s and 90s inspired athleisure and hair scrunchies.
The most I've noticed is 80s. Like scrunchies and bomber jackets.
The 90s was the beginning of pop culture and start of new technologies such as cable and the internet. The 90s were the beginning of movements such as grunge, rave, scene, and hip-hop.
90s, because that's my generation. It's comfortable and it was fun, and I'm seeing it come back now with my daughter, and it's a little odd, and then I look back, it was odd, but that was my favorite.
The early 2000s were the years of an overabundance of flip-flops, super low-rise jeans, bedazzled t-shirts, tons of color patterns, and overall could be seen as a cringiest of times. The 2000s were rebellious with icons such as Britney Spears, and where fashion tried too hard to be different.
What she yelling for?
That in terms of a cohesive look, today there isn't one, but I grew up as part of the generation that looked for it.
River, wash mine so I will come to your river, wash mine.
That if you're talking of sex, then you lose your mind.
style is very boho-y. I love color, anything bright. I love pattern. Like the one I wear every single day, which is this like gray cardigan that literally it's from American Eagle, but it's got like crossouts on the shoulder, and I just put it over everything. And then one that I don't wear every time, but like it's my favorite piece in the whole world, is, my friends have named it my pimp jacket. It's from a Florida Goodwill, and I got for $3, and I've worn it a good 60 times. It's everything. Then like one I live in is just like this simple like crop tank top that's just like blue, green, and white stripes that I just wear every single day in my life.
Oh, psycho killer.
This is a jacket from American Eagle that I bought on sale for like 20 bucks. And I always wanted a jean jacket, so I like made it my own. First thing I did was add pins. Nico to paint on the back because they have a really cool style. I don't like, it's their own kind, I guess, and I just like the way she draws figures and stuff, so I had her paint whatever she wanted on the back.
When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, why say it again? Psycho killer.
Style is almost like a personal, like a reflection of how you feel or how you want to be perceived in the world.
I'm reminded of what somebody else said to me, who is a marketing major in your generation. She said to me that yours and her generation is very much into looking back at history and picking and choosing what they want. Regressing as a movement. Now, it seems to me maybe it could be more like looking. All that information is so accessible now on the internet that you can kind of dip and swoop and go take a look and say, oh, I like that, and then pull it forward for yourself.
All in all, what's next in fashion is unpredictable. The trends that come back from the past are unusual and not expected. Fashion is crazy. Wear what you want to wear. Make it you. Own it. Be unique. XOXO Elena.
The rain again, it always has an effect on me. Don't know how the seasons run.